You're listening to the Multiverse Fan Cast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
My name is Oliver Queen.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive.
My name is Kara Zor-El. I'm from Krypton.
Everyone, this is my cousin. I guess you already know. Okay, I think I have this. Oliver.
Green Arrow.
Dig.
Spartan.
Thea.
Speedy.
Okay. And Sarah.
White Canary.
Jax. And Professor Stein.
Firestorm.
Ray.
Palmer. The Atom.
And Mick.
Oh, Heatwave.
Always a pleasure to see you, Lucy.
Hello? Don't believe we've met. Lucifer, Morningstar. Consider us even, John Constantine.
Constantine.
Is it? I don't care.
You ready?
All right, then. On with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Multiverse Fan Cast. Don't forget, you can take us on the go with Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and any other listening stations. You can also check out our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. Also, our Instagram, which is the Misfit Faction, and you can check out our Facebook page, the Multiverse Fan Cast. I'm Ronnie, and with me, as always, is Paul. Paul, how are you doing?
Hi, Ronnie. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing swell. Thanks for asking.
What a great intro.
I know. I'm amazing, aren't I?
I feel introduced.
Good. You should. Now, moving on to our official third host, Rob. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing really well, and I'm nice and full and not hungry at all. Thanks, Ronnie.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. As I'm over here starving.
You can bring food to the show, you know,
and eat it while we're talking.
Fine.
Hi, everyone.
We'll take turns.
But we are here today. We are going to be discussing the DC movie.
Kind of. Vertigo.
Yeah. The Losers. Before we do that, though, we're going to jump into some news Paul has for us.
He does?
He does.
He was prepared. All right, so we're just going to kind of list some of the news events that have been going on. Unfortunately, news goes through waves. It's either a lot at once or very little. Unfortunately, that's more due to COVID, because normally this is summer blockbuster time. This is when
that's right.
all the news and Comic-Cons and this and that.
Up to Memorial Day especially.
Yeah, big time. So starting off, Henry Cavill is looking to star. I don't think it's not official yet, but
I believe there can only be one, though.
There can only be one, and it's either Superman or Raiden.
All right.
Yeah, that's a deep cut for anybody who gets that one. Yeah. So Henry Cavill may star in Lionsgate Highlander reboots, which I'd be fine with.
It'd be fun.
I enjoyed Highlander as a kid. I think it's definitely got a cheesy effect to it, but I'm down for something like that. Thoughts, anybody?
I think that'll be fun. I think if they go for the corny kind of like Space Knights kind of like fun to it, I think it'll be good.
Ronnie?
I've never seen Highlander.
Never seen Highlander?
No.
Have you watched The Witcher?
No.
Oh my God.
Why is
what do you do?
Why is he on this show?
What do I do? I live a life.
Can we get a new host?
We were just talking about Superman and Lois. Get out of here.
I have a life, says the guy in the Hufflepuff shirt.
You get it right. I'm part of the Quidditch team.
Oh, Hufflepuff Quidditch.
You gave up dinner to be here, all right? What kind of life is that?
It's the life where you guys forced me to.
Not really. I mean, you said 7 o'clock. Going down, we also have Dwayne Johnson will voice Crypto in the DC League of Super Pets animated film. I'm so about that. I don't know why. I just think it's going to be really funny. Man, he's all over the superhero genre right now.
Yeah.
We also have DC has announced a couple of upcoming projects, including an animated film of Injustice: Gods Among Us, which started off as a video game, had a sequel, and a comic book series. Fantastic property.
Yeah, oddly enough, it was the comic book that came after the video game. The video game came first, and then the comic. I've read it. I've read a lot of them, and I have to say it's actually really superior stuff. It's really, really well done. It's an engaging storyline. It's really beautifully drawn characters too. And so I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm not. You all know I'm not a huge fan of the DC animated universe, just because I'm just not into it all that much.
Or DC in general.
Had to go there, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. And also, Evil Superman is always just a pip and a joy. I am very excited to see who they anoint.
Wow.
Who they anoint as the voice cast.
This is going great.
I know, we're killing it. I want to see who they're going to have voicing the characters, because obviously they had Kevin Conroy playing Batman. Most of the big names were in there. So we'll see what happens.
I wonder if they'll get Mark Hamill.
I don't know. He's been really...
He doesn't want to blow out his voice, which I don't blame him.
No, he's busy right now.
What is he busy with?
The Machine movie.
The Machine?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Bert Kreischer is making a movie about his stand-up, like his Machine story, and Mark Hamill is playing his dad.
Oh, yes. You were showing me the picture of the comedian, the one who takes his shirt off and everything. Oh, yes.
Jeremy Irvin is in negotiations to play Alan Scott in the Green Lantern series. That's an interesting casting choice, because to have Alan Scott in the Green Lantern Corps series, because even though Alan Scott is technically Green Lantern, he was a very different incarnation of Green Lantern. So I'm excited to see that they're going to actually have that, and also... for the show in general. Green Lantern. Ronnie loves Green Lantern.
Yes, I do.
Oh, speaking of, here's Green Lantern news. So John Diggle from Arrow is supposedly not going to be suiting up as Green Lantern in his upcoming appearances all throughout the Arrowverse.
This is on the television Arrowverse?
Yeah, so John Diggle there was big fan theory that he was actually Jon Stewart, and which was semi-confirmed when you found out that his stepfather was actually Colonel Stewart.
Yeah.
And he gets the box with the mysterious green glowing object at the end of Crisis. Was it at the end of Crisis?
Yeah.
Yes.
So everybody's like, he is Jon Stewart. He is going to be Green Lantern. And apparently he will not. But
yeah, he said he turns down whatever was in the box.
And that's kind of where his story
Doesn't the ring choose you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know not much about Green Lantern, but I know that much.
Yeah. Well, Green Lantern's a weird mythology. It is. It is so gigantic at this point. And in terms of Marvel news,
yay!
They released all the Legos that they're going to be making for Marvel, including an Infinity Gauntlet and the Daily Bugle.
There actually is. We in our household are looking into investing into the Lego Infinity Gauntlet. Yes.
Oh yeah,
we're totally gonna get it.
I would not say.
Does it work?
I think you can wear it, actually. I don't know if you can
terrifying.
alter time, space, and stuff, but we'll give it a shot.
Don't worry about it.
Better.
Oh, you know what? I do have Marvel news for you.
Oh, right. Yay!
So Evangeline Lilly posted on Instagram her the first look at the script for Quantumania. And in the hashtags, she mentioned specifically the actor who played Yellow Jacket.
Oh, I had heard that. He might be coming back,
we don't know if she just was hashtagging for the sake of hashtagging. If you guys follow any of us, all of our social media, I do the weirdest hashtags sometimes for social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really keen with that social media. I put lots of hash browns at the end, too.
I love hash browns. Especially on like a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Also in Marvel news, I'll add in there, I had mentioned this earlier, and I don't know if you've had this over there or not. Loki introduced some new spots this week, one of which is if you get a chance to see this, or maybe you don't because you don't want the spoilers, there's a 1-minute ABC trailer that aired on last Wednesday night, and the only ones that are out there are people who recorded it off their television sets with their phones. So it's not very good quality, but it is by far the best Loki spot ever. It looks just amazing, and I cannot wait till June 9th, and I know I'm not alone.
Yeah, what a weird time, though. Like, we went from watching something every week to, like, having nothing almost.
Yeah.
Just the CW shows.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll watch MODOK at some point, too.
Well, we got Lucifer coming out next week, season 5.
I have to watch faster. I'm in the middle of season 3.
Well, I'm going to throw this on Rob. Sorry, Ronnie, but Melanie and I are talking about a bonus episode of the Multiverse Fan Cast on Lucifer.
I could be a part of that.
That's why I'm giving you notice.
Count me out. I'll produce.
I'll press the button.
I missed the Supernatural episode. So I will join us for the Lucifer, because I didn't know anything about Supernatural at the time. Now that
how long did it take you to watch 15 seasons of television?
4 months.
Okay, because Melanie and I are going on like a year and a half now.
There were some Saturdays where we would watch like 7, 8, 9 episodes in a row.
See, Melanie and I can't do that. We can't binge watch like that hard. Usually 3 or 4 is like our max.
Lauren's the one that really pushes it in our household, and I just I'm along for the ride.
Yeah. Maybe another show we might look into is Jupiter's Legacy. That came out on Netflix. I haven't seen any of it yet, but I've heard decent things.
On a similar note, there's like, I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's like a ton of superhero properties that came out over the past month, like that they all have a superhero vibe to it. Like there's the Nevers.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 of them that came out on Netflix and Amazon Prime.
The Invincibles or something like that.
Invincible came out on Amazon Prime. I haven't watched it. I've heard great things, but it's funny you bring that up because Invincible and The Boys is kind of what inspired our choice tonight
for the losers.
For the losers, because we could have done something like The Boys or Invincible or some of those more. Less than traditional, but at the same time still traditional superhero stories. But we wanted to do one where it's a comic book property, but it's only more in name, and then certain stylistic aspects, obviously. But yeah, I mean this was an interesting choice, and I do believe Ronnie was the one who picked it.
Yes,
you picked losers this week.
Yes, I did.
Good for you.
He did not watch it. He did not read anything about it, nor did he prepare for tonight. But he picked the movie.
Hey, I read the title.
I picked the one with the least words.
I was sitting there and going, gosh, I'm such a loser. I can't... A loser.
I thought our list of movies was making fun of me.
Actually, he said, I'm such a loser. And then Paul went, hey, yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah.
Let's watch it. What? Well, fun fact for those of you guys who don't know, we do have a whole list of proproperties that we do want to actually go through. So also...
And the losers was on that list.
The losers was on that list. But when we do, maybe we'll do a fan feedback Friday to see if you... Because normally what we've been doing is like character study, movie, TV show in various orders throughout the month. So if you guys are enjoying that setup, that system, and you want us to do that, or if you want more retro stuff, maybe we'll do a fan feedback Friday.
Can they email us at the Misfit Faction?
Or the Multiverse Fan Cast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
you can
private message any one of us on our official website, because that's weird.
Yes.
We do have a suggestion. We do have a page on our website.
Yes, we
for
do. There is a
contacting
We all
us.
have significant others.
Yes.
More than significant. Producer Melanie, she's actually running the show behind the scenes. She helped put together the new studio. By the way, new studio is going to be there's going to be pictures of it on the Instagram tonight.
What?
Ooh.
I said that there's going to be pictures of the new studio.
Yes, we have a new studio. We're in the same space. We just have new furniture.
That's why just bear with us with the microphones, because we had to unplug and replug everything. So we're still teetering around, tinkering.
I would like to point out, though, that not once have I felt the desire to touch my microphone since we've gotten this new table. I usually play with the mic constantly, and Paul shoots me horrible death ray eyes.
Well, that means you got out of the duct tape, and now Ronnie's touching things over there.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But that's it for news and just a little bit of Misfit talk, I guess.
I guess so.
So, Ronnie, are you ready to jump into the episode, or do you think we should take a quick break first?
Ooh. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're talking about...
The losers.
It's business time.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ray's Energy Drinks from Rep Sports. Whether you're trying to crush your afternoon workout or just need a little extra pick-me-up, Ray's Energy is just the boost that you're going to need. So if you go to repsports.com and any product that you order, enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout to receive 15% off. Anything that you guys buy from that store helps our network grow, and we fully appreciate everything you guys do. That's MISFIT89 at checkout, repsports.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to jump right in again. We're talking about The Losers. The movie came out in 2010, I believe it was.
Yes, it was.
Right? Basically, it's
God,
about
11 years ago.
I know, right? That's how old we are.
It's comic book A-Team.
And let's put it in perspective here. It came out in phase 1 of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically this is about a special force unit basically being left for dead, essentially, by the CIA.
So it is the A-Team.
Yeah.
But it's comic book A-Team.
Exactly.
So let's take it back a notch. So having said that, unfortunately, this movie came out around the exact same time as the A-Team.
Yeah.
They did the remake with Liam Neeson and Bradley Cooper.
I have not seen, but I've heard is not a very good movie.
You know what?
I've heard this one's better.
Yeah.
Actually.
We're doing on Cinematic Adventures next month.
Yeah.
We're doing TV shows to movie adaptations.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, so that one, we're only doing 4 episodes. We might have to do some bonus episodes because we had a lot of good ones. But the A-Team was one that we actually did want to do because we enjoy that movie, but we also enjoyed Dukes of Hazzard. So
yeah,
what does that say? Yeah. But
I mean, it's okay to enjoy Dukes of Hazzard
because you enjoy Dukes of Hazzard. That's why.
Who doesn't?
Rob.
I grew up watching the television show, and as a result, have never watched the movie.
You know, they did an homage to it on Smallville. Just John Schneider's in it. So they did an episode where the guy who plays
Tom Wampat.
Yeah, he guest starred, and they actually got in a Charger, or what is it? Is it a Charger?
It's
the General Lee. Yeah. But they get into like a car that looks like it, and they have to go through the windows because the doors are still broken. Yeah, it was very entertaining. But do you want me to run the cast?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's run through the cast.
What a cast this movie had.
Big stars.
Yeah, if nothing else, and I have to say this is actually one of the same compliments I had for Venom too, was the fact that it had the casting director is really spot on.
Yeah.
But these actors weren't that big when this movie came out.
No, this was pre MCU for most of them. This was pre Walking Dead for Jeffrey T. Morgan.
Yeah.
This movie was before
pre Supernatural.
No. Supernatural is 2005.
Yeah, I think
so. But this fun fact, talking about the cast, we went to go see this movie purely because Chris Evans had this was the movie before Captain America.
Now, had he already done?
He had been cast.
Okay.
He had not been in a movie yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Captain America: The First Avenger had not come out at this point.
But had he filmed it yet?
I don't think so. You can see his physicality is way different in this movie. He's much leaner.
Yeah.
He's a lot leaner. Okay. But so going through the list, the top builds was Idris Elba as Captain William Roque.
Yeah.
Yes.
He can't do anything wrong, and I always enjoy him and whatever he does. He really always brings 1,000%
that voice.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a very intense actor.
Yeah. He does a decent American accent too. Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Roque?
He's okay. Full disclosure. I was told 48 hours ago that we would be doing this show. So, knowing me, I like to prep nonstop. So I
watched the movie.
I did that too. But I also read it comes from a DC Vertigo comic line that came out in 2004, I think.
Something like that.
I think it was 2004 or 2006.
There was an original version of this property, like a World War II.
Yeah, the losers were originally. I just figured out my microphone. It was turned the wrong way. Now it's better.
Actually, yeah.
The losers were originally from like the 60s and the 70s, but this iteration of the losers had absolutely nothing to do with them. This one, they came up with the idea of just like these sort of A-team like characters, and then they just went with that and created their own characters. So it was a Vertigo run from 2004 to 2006. It went for 32 issues, and it was. So I'm going to be talking a lot about how well it was adapted and how well it came out and everything. And Roque, I have to say, his character in the movie is actually better than it was in the comic book. In the comic book, it was very clear that it was like, oh, he's going to turn at some point. Like it was painfully obvious in the comics. So Idris Elba did a nice job of playing it more subtly and more bro-ishly with
Clay.
Yeah, with Clay.
Yeah. Going down, we have Zoe Saldana as Aisha Al-Fadil. Zoe Saldana. What can you say about Zoe Saldana?
Gamora.
This was a great indication of how she would do Gamora. It's very similar. Very espionage, assassiny.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like was Colombiana?
Colombiana, yeah.
Yeah.
This was right before her biggest break. So
and right post Star Trek, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which she would go to star with Idris Elba in Star Trek, not Into Darkness, Star Trek Beyond. They were both in. Idris Elba's the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was under makeup, wasn't he?
For most of it, yeah.
Okay. That's why I don't really remember him.
Yeah, poor Idris Elba.
I don't remember it because I don't watch Star Trek. That's for losers.
Well, there goes that half of the audience.
Oh, well.
But if you guys are interested, we're doing Star Wars month on Cinematic Adventures.
Star Trek is
that's better.
Star Trek is good.
Trekkers is the preferred term. Trekkers.
I am not one, but I do enjoy the movies. But that's off topic.
Have you seen Fanboys?
It's so fake.
No, I haven't seen Fanboys yet. You ask me this every week.
It's upstairs if you want to borrow it.
And you say that immediately after when I say, no, I haven't.
And it's weird how we have not resolved this situation yet. But she's great in it. She you never know really what her motive is. I mean, it's kind of spelled out. Like watching it again, I was like, oh, come on, guys.
She's a bit more hidden in the. All right, her character in the comics is. First of all, she is much more aggressive in the comics. She is like cutthroat and crazy in the comics.
She is volatile.
Yeah, and she's not as sympathetic in the comics either. They don't actually find out. She doesn't reveal her relationship and why she's going after Max until like issue 19, I think it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But she's. I have to say that's another improvement from the comics, that she humanizes the character and makes her a lot more understandable and sympathetic.
I enjoyed her just for being Zoe Saldana. Unfortunately, this movie was way before the more aware Hollywood, where there's a lot of gratuitous shots of Zoe Saldana in this. A lot of butt shots, and only one makes sense when you see that she's got a gun in her back pocket or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like that one made sense, when she's covering it up.
There's one shot where it's like the mirror is shattering from the ceiling,
and it's just her butt.
It's her butt.
Yeah.
But it's
to show that she went in the bathroom, guys.
I have to say, show she worked on that body because they told her she had to put weight on for it.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know.
Well,
I forgot to read the trivia.
because of the fact that she was carrying guns and all this stuff around, this extra weight around with her, that she had to like build up a little bit because she's carrying it during a shoot for hours and hours, and everything. So you gotta get kind of used to it.
Because when they fire prop guns, they are firing blanks, but they still have
kick.
Not even that they have kick, it's the trigger pull. They still have the same kind of trigger pull. So pulling a trigger over and over again is very taxing on your hands.
Yeah.
Like it does damage. It's not easy. And especially heavier firearms, they're going to have a higher pull requirements.
Yeah.
So that's not a technical term. I'm just really trying. But there is a technical term for it.
Thank you, officer.
Yeah, no, there is a technical term for the pull weight of it. It's just like a bow and arrow. Like on Arrow, they eventually had him with just a prop bow with no string on it, and he would just.
And they would CGI it in
because it got to be too taxing. Some of those things have like a 50-pound pull.
Yeah.
So like things like that. Even Hawkeye, I think they did it for once in a while. Mm-hmm. For all the bows he shot in Avengers Endgame.
Fun fact for Zoe Saldana's character.
Not Zoli.
In the comics, she is Afghani.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I have to. Well, never mind. I'll wait for a little bit when we talk about the structure of this film.
Okay. All right. We have Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Lieutenant Clay.
John Winchester.
He's the only one that they gave the comic accurate suit to, but it just felt so out of place most of the time.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was totally Reservoir
well, that's why I liked
Dogs.
it. I liked it that it was so out of place. You only see him in uniform in the beginning,
right? And
then he's got the suit and pants. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, no, it had a Reservoir Dog vibe to it.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of cool.
I dig that he's now. I think he's done 4 comic book properties. He's done Watchmen. Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh right, because he was
this, and I guess Walking Dead is the 4th.
Oh yeah. That's a Robert Kirkman comic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And he kind of stole the role and made it even like Negan was popular in the comics, but
I read those comics, but I've never seen him as Negan, and I've heard great things about it.
Oh, I used to watch the show.
Well, unfortunately,
until the last couple seasons of it.
Yeah.
But he was definitely
binging ruined that show for me.
Real.
Because I would binge it, and especially season 2 when they're on that stupid farm for 47 episodes. It feels like
that.
Yeah.
So like binging that
was brutal.
It was long.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, the problem I have with The Walking Dead, and this is going off topic, but it's still a comic book property.
Yes.
So, and it's kind of semi-involved. My problem with The Walking Dead is it's the same season every season.
I tapped out after about 4 seasons, and I read up to I think issue 120 or something that. Yeah.
Well, I know that the comics ended, so and the show's obviously.
I think they ended somewhere around the 200 mark.
Going down, we have Chris Evans as Captain Jake Jensen. He's hilarious in this movie, and I really enjoy it. He's awkward. He's a nerd. He's in great shape. He's what I want to be.
Yeah, right.
Now now here's the interesting thing. I love how I told everyone that this would be interesting before I said it instead of you making your own judgments. I saw this movie about a year ago, and I have to say I didn't like Chris Evans' character at all. Then I read the comics. Then I saw his character again, and I realized he was nailing it. Like, he is Jensen. Like, he is that character from the comic book come to life. It's amazing how well he does Jensen. Because actually in the comics, Jensen can be kind of hipster annoying, and Chris Evans kind of drops that, which is really cool. He does such a good job with it.
Yeah. Thoughts on Chris Evans, Ronnie?
To me, he's probably my favorite out of the entire group.
I figured you'd be more of a Pooch kind of guy.
No.
Right.
I think it's just because of the humor of Chris Evans' character.
Pooch does have my favorite line in the entire movie.
Yeah.
After he gets shot in both legs, and two people ask him, "Can you walk?" Oh, it's Stupid Question Day. I didn't know it was Stupid Question Day. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I feel like I'm more of a Pooch.
You are more of a Pooch.
Yeah. I do like Jensen better.
So let's bring up Columbus Short as Pooch. Yep. He's so each one of these guys has a role too. So I'll even tell you exactly what those roles are.
Pooch is a specialist in heavy weapons and transportation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty
impressive.
That was really impressive. Jensen
see what
tech.
mat eating does?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
all of this going to his brain.
Being hungry for a podcast really sharpens.
I just want to do the episode, guys.
Jensen's the intelligence and the hacker.
Telecommunications.
Yep.
And
you had Clay's the leader.
Clay's the leader, tactical command. And Roke is...
Rogue was the detonation specialist.
Detonation and, I think, tactics.
Really is A-team.
It really is A-team.
And even a similar storyline where you have a bunch of seemingly dead guns for hire that are trying to get their identities back from the government.
It's bad.
Like, it's kind of shameless.
I want to do a section where we talk about the two movies, because obviously I don't want to compare the TV show of the A-team, which was like 80s cheese.
Yeah.
But we'll finish the list first. We have, I'm going to butcher this, Oscar Yaneda, because J and...
I don't know.
Yaneda, as Carlos Cougar Alvarez.
Depends.
The sniper.
He's
Spanish. Why are you giving
why
him an
did
Australian
he
accent?
just become a leprechaun?
Sniper.
Why does everything I do sound like a leprechaun?
Slap at the base.
Sniper, no sniping.
Oh God. I actually think Cougar's my favorite of the entire movie. I think he's just funny.
Yeah.
He's very even in the comics he doesn't have many lines. He's very low key, and he's more of just a weapons specialist and sniper than he is just he's a
one of my favorite
kind of a device.
One of my favorite bits though is when they both are riding into the cemetery. And, Chris Evans is on one motorcycle, he's on the other. And he kisses the girl that he's with, and Chris Evans goes to kiss her, and she kisses him instead. And he's just like, oh. And he's wearing his petunia shirt. We have Jason Patric as Max, who's the MacGuffin bad guy, basically.
Yep.
Let's see. Holt McCallany.
Wait, go back to Jason Patric.
Oh, sorry.
Well, then speak, boy, speak.
I didn't know.
You must raise your hand.
What did you guys think of Jason Patric in this?
Who?
He's
he is a really solid actor.
He's a great actor, yes, except for Speed 2 Cruise Control, but we don't talk about it. But he's he's in things like The Lost Boys,
Rush.
Stuff like that. Rush, Sleepers, Geronimo, An American Legend. Like he's definitely and he does Max as a villain is brutal and cutthroat and quirky. It's almost like they were like, all right, here are the villain tropes. Let's grab 4 or 5 of them and see what happens. Yeah. And he does the best he can with what he gets.
Yeah, he's sort of an amalgamation.
Amalgamation.
Wow, thank you. Say that word again.
Amalgamation.
Of various Bond
Can we get a recording of that?
Well, you want to know how I learned the word amalgamation?
How?
Hooked on phonics?
Hook it on phonics.
No, but anyway. So in the 90s, DC and Marvel had their big crossover event that actually ended up with them joining into a new comic book universe called the Amalgam Universe. Ooh. In the Amalgam Universe, they took characters and combined them with each other. Mm-hmm. Wolverine and Batman became Dark Claw. Captain America and Superman became Super Soldier. Spider-Man and Superboy became Spider-Boy, and it was a limited run, but it was really good, and I was a big fan of it. So I used to call it Amalgam as a kid because I couldn't.
Mommy, I want to watch the Amalgam.
Yeah. So I eventually learned that it was amalgamation.
Oh wow, that's not a word I think I can pronounce.
Yep.
Amalgamation. Yeah, he's an amalgamation of various Bond tropes.
Oh
from
yeah,
the villains. And it's sad because it's not. I will say this in the comics too, that Max is not very well written out in the comics, or at least as far as I've gotten. I was given 48 hours, and so I read 20 issues out of the 32 of the comic book run. But from what I've read also about what's coming up in there is that Max is actually two people.
He's a twin.
Yeah.
And if you watch the movie, he's wearing a glove.
Yes.
Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's black. In this movie, it's because he has an injury to his hand. I believe it's a car accident he was in. But in the comics, it was because one twin wore a black one twin wore a white one. Boom. Not the only person that did a little research
wow,
here.
Look who's prepared. He's not a very good villain. All right, the comic is not perfect. In fact, it's barely scraping by as good. It's got a good concept, and the characters are very good, but it didn't really seem like in the comic that they knew where they were going with it, that they didn't have an overall arching plan. Because also, a 32-issue run is not very long for a comic.
No.
They usually go much longer than that. So I think they were trying to figure out, like, it was a good start to it, but I think they never really came up with some good themes and some overall elements to it that came together by the end. So
I think my issue was, and like I said, we'll talk about this more, the A-Team came out around the same time, and Patrick Wilson played a very similar CIA-type bad guy.
Oh, really?
Hammy and just like over the top, and it was just I like both actors. I like Patrick Wilson though a little bit more. I'm more familiar with his work. I loved him in Watchmen. And
Jason Patric is a very 90s, like early 90s film actor. So he's not that well known. I think he did the best he could with this material. It wasn't, but it's it's also very clear from the movie that they had intended to do more with Max in future installments.
Yeah, they were expecting a sequel, unfortunately. A lot of movies do, but yeah.
This, just to give you an idea too from the comic book run, that the movie covers issues, I'd say 1 through 6, and then 16 to 19. So there's still like a tremendous amount of comics they could have drawn from.
Yeah. And then rounding out the cast is Holt McCallany as Wade Travis. He's another actor who he always kind of plays this very similar role.
Hey, it's that guy.
But I actually really like him, and I wish he got more. I definitely think he's got some chops.
He and Jason Patric have a good chemistry with one another, but unfortunately both of them are so two-dimensional that there's nothing more than just that interplay between the two of them.
I do love when he's asking for the 18-man firing squad, and he asks like 6 times, and then he's like, "All right, cancel the 18-man firing squad." Well, do you want me to kill them or fire them? Well, what would be easier? Firing them would be much easier. And he's like. And then eventually he's like well, what are they related?
It's my brother-in-law.
Yeah, brother. Well, he's like, yes, by blood, brother-in-law. And it's a very funny.
There's some good dialogue.
There is some very good dialogue in this, like surprisingly for just your run-of-the-mill action. There's also some really good cinematography. There's some great shots in this movie. Great music choices. I really dig the soundtrack.
Let's differentiate that. When you say there's great music choices, you're talking about songs.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you pay attention to the composing music in this, the score.
Oh yeah, no.
It is dreadful.
Yeah.
In fact, and that's one of the big problems that I have with this movie on the whole is that it is almost like I'm going to date myself with this. It is almost like a really well done Magnum PI.
Should I put on a mustache?
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm assuming you're talking about the old version, not the new one that's out.
Yes, the old with Tom Selleck.
He was on Friends.
It's really it's like a pretty good, well-funded television show. This movie.
There are some really bad green screen effects.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
Like as much as I love the shot and the dialogue, when Zoe Saldana is standing on top of the container with the rocket launcher. And then,
and
Jet's like,
terrible.
no, that's a badass chick,
Yeah.
which is it was a great moment because
Right.
he delivers it like perfectly. But it's rough. The airplane looked really bad in certain shots. Luckily, it's all towards the end. They don't have a whole lot. But even though it's very gratuitous, the scene of her with the mirror breaking and you see her reflection going into the bathroom, the point was to show where she was going, and they used an aesthetic choice. Yes, it was just pure butt, which, so stupid. But the shot of her actually
we did not condone that type of filmmaking.
It was 2000.
Hence why the difference between, say, like Justice League's Wonder Woman and Patty Jenkins's Wonder Woman,
or even Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, anything Zack Snyder does with women in general, I'd say he fetishizes them.
I still say that Joss Whedon did it worse.
Oh yeah,
the shot of Barry landing on top of her. Really,
that's
horrific.
Which, okay, since you're bringing up cringeworthy stuff, there were a couple moments in this movie that I thought were cringe-inducing, where Jason Patric makes fun of a Pakistani man's accent. I went, ooh.
Yeah. This movie is definitely dated. It came out.
I was going to say, because that's the thing, is back in 2010, which isn't that long ago, but it seems like so long ago.
At this point, it's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it's like it was okay.
Yeah.
Like
when they were throwing the one guy off the building and talking about his weight and everything, that was awkward.
I kind of chuckled. I'm terrible.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of The Hangover, where he's coming
because he's fat. Yeah,
it's funny because he's fat.
Well, another one is when he's surrounded by all the pretty women and he tells one of them to stay wet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and as he's on the phone with Wade, he's undoing another girl's dress.
Yeah, there's some real misogynism going on.
Luckily, it's really just from the bag. Granted, I do love the exchange where they're like, "It's because of a woman. It's always because of a woman." He's like, "Name one," and they start listing all the women that have burned clay in the past.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the Bechdel test?
I definitely am, but for our listeners, if you would like to explain it in layman's terms,
I can't believe you've never heard this.
Why don't you tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Well, John Bechdel was a doctor who changed his name to Bechdel.
I forget her first name, but she said that
Susan.
In films, the Bechdel test has to. You're looking this up now, aren't you? I see you typing.
No, I'm not.
The Bechdel test says that in order to pass, to show that women have a good role and position in the film, there has to be two women who are talking to one another in the film, and when they talk, it has to be not about a man.
Okay. So here's
Alison Bechdel. Thank you. That's it.
He was definitely looking it up.
No, I just had to go back in my brain.
Yeah, he was racking his brain.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we can say this film does not pass the.
Well,
Alison
let's take a step back for this film. This film is a very small cast. It is very small.
I would say it's even a very small female cast, but it's a pretty widespread male cast.
But I would also argue that Zoe Saldana's character in this, not only does she go toe-to-toe with Clay and arguably beats him, but she also saves all the boys. And they, there are definitely some lines of little girl versus like big boy. Like they say these words.
Yeah.
I do agree that it does not hit the criteria for the most part, but it also is a great representation of female power, especially at a time where, like we said, there are a lot of bad, cringy lines in this. But to have Zoe Saldana, who not only plays with the boys but also beats the boys.
See, but however, though, like there's a difference between female empowerment and female violence fetishism, and like because you could also argue, well, Sucker Punch, that's all about empowerment. I'll
argue that because I don't think that at all.
No,
but compare Zoe Saldana in this to Zoe Saldana's Gamora. Now that's female empowerment.
But I can see a lot of Gamora in this movie, not only because she also takes punches.
Yeah,
I think that's a very big thing because unfortunately it's still jarring. It is really jarring to see a woman get punched in a film.
By a man, especially.
Especially by a man who's like 60 pounds heavier than she is. Like, and he punches her and I do like that Clay treats her like an equal immediately, as an equal threat too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, all right, put the gun down, little girl, you're gonna hurt yourself. As soon as he realizes who she is, like as soon as she drops the accent, he's like, what happened to your accent? And you've been following me. What's going on? And she, they start fighting. he does not hold back. He does not, it's not stay down, young lady, before you get hurt. I enjoyed that. And the fact that none of the other characters ever underestimate her. In fact, they're more suspicious of her than any other character.
Yeah, she's accepted as one of the boys.
And I think that that's a really powerful point in the film. I would have really enjoyed to see her, interact with another female. Unfortunately, the only other females in this are either gratuitous extras or Pooch's wife, who we don't even really see till the very end.
Yeah. And I don't think Pooch's wife is... real quick, just on the comic. The comic actually starts off with the scene where they're laying on the ground from and they're pretending to be dead and spinal injury, and the helicopters are coming to save them. That's actually the start of the comics. They don't do the whole and this is something I don't like about the movie, is that they play the whole film very chronologically, whereas in the comic, Zoe Saldana's character and Clay are on a plane, and she says something like, so how did you first get crossed by the how did you guys end up losing your identity? And he goes, well, let me tell you the story, and then it goes over 4 issues, so it's a flashback, and then he says, how about you? How did you get into this? And that's when she reveals her last name and that was her father. They don't fight though. Because she's never after them. She always is like, she says this in the comics, you were just the tool, the weapon. Max was the one who pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And I wish that the movie had played with chronology too, because actually between them getting burned by the CIA and them trying to get back in the comics, there's a 5-year span there, whereas in the movie it's like what, a couple weeks?
I would say a couple of months. It's long enough to know that his wife is...
It's long enough to get apparently a chicken and get it involved in cockfighting.
Oh, yeah. One thing I definitely...
I think it's 4 months.
Does it say 4 months? I don't know. But one thing I really like about this movie, though, is, the opening scene is a ballsy opening scene. It was
kill all the kids.
Yeah,
which is right from the comics too.
Not that we condone that sort of thing, obviously, here on the Multiverse Fan Cast, but movies, when it comes to that, they tend, especially PG-13 comic book movies.
Yeah.
That was more of a V for Vendetta type, or even like The Boys or something like that. It was not done.
Well, and that's something I should add too, is that the comic is not PG-13 at all.
It is very The Boys.
There's some very shocking violence in it of people getting ripped apart. I was actually surprised they kept the whole Wade going through the jet engine scene.
Well, they did it in The Incredibles, kind of so it was jokey. Fine.
Yeah.
No, in The Incredibles, that happens
true.
to 2 characters.
Oh, that's right. No kids.
2 characters that happens to.
But no, it's the comic is R. It's very R, and it's got very strong language in it and everything. And they toned it down. And I wonder if this would have benefited from going R.
I don't think not at the time. Now, if they released it, if they redid this, if they were going to do this movie right now, same cast with an R rating, I think it would blow people away. Because even it would change, even if they kept the story the same, the script the same, the structure the same, which I think Rob and I are going to agree. I'm not sure about Ronnie because he never actually watched this movie. He's just tagging along.
I've watched the movie like 2-3 times. I just have not seen it recently.
It came out in 2010. I saw it in 2011. Actually, I think you and I saw it in theaters together.
Yeah.
I really didn't know about it until about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and HBO Max, which Ronnie can use my account if he wants. But I think if they redid this movie right now with a hard R rating, now's the time for that to be.
And I think it would have also benefited from serial television kind of episodic approach to it too.
Unfortunately, I think that with The Boys and Invincible right now, it would just be like, it's just another Boys ripoff. Or they're going to say it. It's rated R A-Team. That's the inevitable comparison, unfortunately. And that's a shame because this movie, well, it does have a lot of comparisons, especially in the story structure, like scary sometimes, the story structure comparisons with the A-Team. So basically, the A-Team had same thing, middle of the city heist, big climactic fight in a shipping yard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like both 2 major set pieces in the same movies.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper and Chris Evans kind of they're similar characters.
Yeah.
You got Hannibal is Clay, except Clay's a lot hornier, but
which he's not in the comics.
Do they get together in the comics?
Not until issue 20.
Yeah. But I love
and
that.
Even then, there's it's not a fighting, and they get into it, and it's very like They in the comics they do the scene where the place starts to catch on fire, but then the sprinklers go off and put it all out.
Not nearly as sexy.
No way.
I do love the scene where they confront her and she's pointing the gun at Chris Evans at his junk, and he's like, she's pointing the dick at my. It's pointing at my dick, Clay. She's pointing a gun at my dick.
Would it be better if it was at your head? Yeah, I think so. Okay, not so much.
Getting shot was fun.
Chris Evans really is. I don't think I really realized just how talented he is until I saw this. I always knew he was talented, but this really shows his range too, and just his ability to take material and elevate it too.
This was the perfect balance between Captain America and his character from Not Another Teen Movie.
Yes.
I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
Not to disparage you, Rob, or make you feel bad, but like that was a movie of our generation. Those rated R comedies, like we grew up with Your American because we weren't allowed to watch them.
Yeah,
like they were very taboo and very.
Wow. I mean, I grew up with like Porky's and
Porky's
stuff
like
that.
Animal House and stuff like that. So like. For us as kids, the rated R raunchy comedy really started with American Pie, and then it, even though Not Another Teen Movie is just a pure spoof and parody of all that, which Chuck is in.
Yes, he is.
Rob Benedict's in that movie.
Yeah.
Rob Benedict, who plays God on Supernatural, he's in Not Another
spoilers.
Teen Movie. Whoops.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's in Not Another Teen
yeah.
Movie. But like movies like that, they spoke to us. That's where I first saw Chris. I first saw Captain America. And he wears a whipped cream bikini with a banana up his ass.
Banana split?
Yeah. Like, to have him being this, like, kind of mixing those two, there are some cringeworthy things, like when he's, like, liking the angle of the dangle. I was like, and all the women are so into it.
Yeah, which... that is such a male fantasy.
But you know what, though? At the same time, like, he's all... If he had just been like, I work out... Like, that would have been a much better line.
Now, if there's a man standing in an elevator, no matter how attractive, without pants on, women are not going to do that. They're going to go, and they're going to run, and they're going to run right
Security
to
should have been there.
Resources.
Yeah. Well, that's who he called. He called the head of human resources and reported himself like a good employee should. I do love all the Journey music, though. When he goes into the elevator and he's just singing. I wouldn't get in the elevator with him either. But this movie... It's got faults.
Here's my 2-word review: solidly mediocre.
That's totally fair. Like, this isn't a movie that if people are like, I want to watch a comic book movie, this isn't the first one I'm going to throw at them.
Oh no.
If somebody was like, I want a comic book movie that can ease me in. This is a good ease in because it's a standalone type thing.
It is not a good movie. It's not a bad movie though either.
Right in the middle.
It is.
Yes.
And I just want to talk about this for a second. The director, someone I'm not too familiar with until I start reading off what he's done. Listen to this stuff. This is Sylvain White.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stuff. Let's see. Well, first of all, back then, here's The Losers back in 2010. Up until that point, he had only done the great hit I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
That's a classic.
And that's about it. Oh, he did Stomp the Yard.
That's where Columbus Short comes from.
Where what does?
Columbus Short. He was in that movie.
He was in that movie.
That's a place or a person?
Pooch.
Oh, Pooch. Oh.
Yeah.
Then he
wasn't legless in that.
He did a lot of television. CSI Miami, The Mentalist, Person of Interest, The Originals, The Following, Empire, Sleepy Hollow, like just Hawaii Five-0, which he actually did 8 episodes of Hawaii Five-0, which this is Hawaii Five-0. This is that, and I'm not talking about the original, I'm talking about the reboot. That's what this movie is. It's that kind of a USA, if you remember, the USA Network shows like Burn Notice and stuff like that. That's
Psych. I love Burn Notice and Psych.
That's what this movie is.
Yeah. Well, you know who was supposed to direct this movie, right?
No.
Tim Story.
Oh, yes, I did know that.
Fantastic Four, Tim Story.
Yeah, he originally was attached to it, and he might have been better that he wasn't.
Yeah. I do enjoy some of his work. He did like Ride Along. I like those movies.
Who's Sylvain White or Tim Story?
Tim Story. He's done the Ride Along movies. He did the new Tom and Jerry movie. That's interesting.
We got Chloe Grace Moretz for that. So,
yeah.
Meanwhile, Sylvain White went on to do Slender Man.
Yes.
Ugh.
He did direct an Umbrella Academy episode.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
One episode of that. Yeah.
When the next season comes out, we got to do an episode on the Umbrella Academy.
Oh my gosh, huge fan.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I want to see what they're going to do next season. But anyway.
But it's not a good movie. It also is such a short movie. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which is, it's why I don't know what the rush is. Because there are so many moments that could have been drawn out, that could have been worked on. I will say this. The comedy is done well.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's because of the actors or because of the director, but the comedy is done well. The action is really dreadful.
Yeah.
I know you're probably going to fight me on this a little bit, but if you watch the action and the fighting, it is very here's always a good way to tell if the director is good at action. If the shots are very close and the cuts are quick, that means the action is not good, and the editor had to save it in the editing room.
Yeah, or it depends on the style of the director. Like if you watch the Crank movies, that's how they're done. They're very cut, because that's the
least
style.
Those are more wide shots.
Oh yeah, for this movie, fight scenes really the only one that stands out is them in the hotel room, because that's the only one where you can see the actors' faces the whole time. So you can see the stunt doubles every once in a while, especially Jeffrey Dean Morgan's, but
I mean,
otherwise, the fight scenes are forgettable.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's a couple moments where you're like, "Oh, that's a really cool shot." Like when he jumps off at the end to get the kill switch.
Oh, that was a
really cool shot.
That was a great shot.
I like that.
And practical too.
Yeah,
I love a good practical shot.
There's someone that's maybe it's the DP or the cinematographer, someone that has a great eye that can really nail those shots very, very well. Mm-hmm. But in terms of stringing together an action sequence, it's not good at all.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. So, do you want to wrap it up with Star City rating?
Yeah. Star City rating. Rob, why don't you go first?
I'm gonna give this. I cannot recommend it. Okay. And that's sort of where I'm at right now. Because, however, that doesn't mean I think you shouldn't see it. Because I think it is worth seeing. Because there are some moments that are really funny and really worth. Chris Evans is worth it. Even up to the very end at the soccer game, there are so many moments where it's enjoyable, and they do incorporate a lot of the artwork from the comic into it. As a curiosity piece, I think I could recommend it. So I would give it. I'd say 2 out of 5. No, 2.5. 2.5 because
right in the middle.
Yeah, right. Because it is solidly mediocre.
Yeah.
Okay.
2.5.
Paul.
So I'm gonna give it a little bit higher than Rob. I'm gonna give it a 3, purely because it is very right. It is a play it safe type movie. It is a PG-13, and I never really advocate for an R rating. I think that a lot of movies they try it just for the sake of it. But I think this movie is a mediocre movie, a very simple, straightforward movie, but the cast is what makes it a 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're a Chris Evans fan, if you're an Idris Elba fan, even if you're a Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan, because he doesn't do... His movie resume is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about... I keep wanting to call him Harry Dean Stanton. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Is he... wasted in this, or is he just not have the range?
I think he,
because here's his MO of because he's got those bedroom eyes. He'll stare at you, he'll pause, and then he'll give his line.
But you know what? I love the scene.
William Shatner.
The scene of him with Idris Elba in the car is hilarious. You're embarrassed to be seen in an American classic? Like the two, their back and forth is really good, and that's when he shines. He has to have the right co-star to play off of. And that's why Negan has been so successful, because it's not just him hamming it up and really enjoying the role. It's also who he's interacting with that makes it either really scary or really fun.
His relationship with Lucille.
He's not a scene stealer. He's
I would say
more of a team member.
Yes.
But he's also a scene stealer with the right team. I think I remember the first scene where he kills, spoiler, Abraham and Glenn.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene is like I haven't watched the show, but I watched that episode and I was like, This is chill-inducing.
In Walking Dead, yeah, but anything else
in
that I
this
can
movie,
think of,
yeah.
he's not a real scene stealer.
Yeah, in this movie, he's very... But that's also the character. He's very... Or at least the character in this interpretation. Very by the book. Very hey, losers, we're up. Let's go. Mission time. Yeah. So, like, you see at the very beginning, they're all playing cards, and they're betting all their weapons. Yeah. Which is a great scene, because it shows the camaraderie and, like, the kind of characters they are. And then you just see, Jeffrey Dean Morgan comes in, and he's business time. So for me, this movie is a 3. It is an average movie with a above average cast, and that's the only thing that really pops it up. And if you're a comic book fan and you haven't seen it, give it a try. It's worth the time.
Something else I wanted to bring up, and this is something I've been learning a lot about lately. That a good film usually has 2 levels of stakes. There's the external stakes of trying to solve whatever problem they're in the middle of, and then there's the internal stakes of them trying to grow. Like, I'll give you an example. Daniel Craig in James Bond in Casino Royale. The external stakes are, the bad guy and trying to get whatever it is that he's trying to stop or get back. But the internal stakes are that he is reckless as a spy, and he needs to learn to temper that to be a much smoother, individual and more effective. And I didn't feel in this movie that there was a lot of internal stakes going on. That it was all
I think it was
external.
really just, the internal stakes were really Pooch's relationship with his wife and baby, Jensen's niece. Nothing about Cougar. Like, there's no, because like that's also their drive, their care. Like that's what we need to get home so I can do this.
What's the internal struggle for Clay? And I'm not talking about getting his identity back. That's an external struggle. Like, the internal struggle for him is that I've always been this kind of a person, and I'd like to not be that kind of a person. For him,
I'll answer that because I watched this. First, it was being consumed by revenge, and that's what what ends up pushing Roke away. Because Roke's like, we're here, we're in. You can't stop though. You are never going to stop until you get this revenge that you don't need.
Right.
Like, we're home. Like, we won. And for Clay, it's not only just that restless sense of revenge that he needs to get fulfilled, but it's also, when it comes to women, that reckless. And at the very end with Zoe Saldana, and she's like, when we get Max, you and I are going to settle this. And he's like, fair enough. And that was his character growth type moment.
Maybe then I'd just like to see the internal stakes played up more.
Yeah, it's only because Roke eventually betrays them because of it that you even notice it. Like, they have their little inner team squabbles. Like, Clay punches him in the face at one point. So the struggles are there. It's just it's not written strong enough. So I get why you're saying they aren't there. But just because I just had the benefit of really watching this movie today. Like 6 hours ago, I watched this movie. So for me, like, I kept note of stuff like that.
Also, on a side note, I forgot to mention this too, that like I would like to have... I didn't feel that the stakes were dangerous enough that they might be in any kind of trouble at any point. Like, I was like, they were going to be fine. Where in the comics, by the end, I believe only 2 of them survive.
Don't tell me.
I will tell you which one.
I feel like the reason because of that is they were going to make a second one.
Yeah, I think
but
you're
then
right.
the studio was like, nah.
Well, because it
didn't make so much money. It made money, but it didn't make.
I think it made like $23 million overall or something like that,
or whatever. And then you bring these guys back, and
it's made. It was a budget of $25 million, and the budget was the box office was $29.9. So it made $5 million.
Yeah, and that's not even. Well, don't forget there's
and then you have marketing,
marketing too.
Yeah. And then you get the toy profit. Oh, wait.
The Jensen posable figure with kung fu grip.
What was your star rating?
I'm going to give it a 3 as well. Like you said, the cast is what kind of brings it up to a 3. The comedy, the fact that they had a nice little fact in there, which I'm kind of surprised Rob didn't bring up.
What did I miss?
The fact that cats can make over 1,000 different sounds and dogs can only make 10.
Just because he says it doesn't mean it's true. I saw it in a movie. It must be true.
But no, you know what scene I got a kick out of is when he's up in the top of the office building, I believe it is, where Cougar's sniping the guys, and he's like, I'm a government experiment. He's like,
anal things.
Yeah. That is right through from the comics too, and actually Chris Evans makes it better than the comics. One of the reasons why I can't, because this is why I struggled between 2 and 2.5. At no point during this movie did I feel angry. I felt frustrated because I'm like, oh, this could be so much more. But it didn't make me angry the way like Suicide Squad or Venom makes me angry.
It's funny. It's funny you say Suicide Squad because this movie does have major Suicide Squad vibes. I know Ronnie's a very big fan of Suicide Squad. I'm kind of in the middle with it.
And
Rob
you know
hates it. So it's funny that a movie like this, especially with such a comic book cast, Idris Elba, they all these actors went on to big comic book roles for the most part. So to have, this movie kind of be what Suicide like this. I'm sorry, Ronnie. This is a better version of what Suicide Squad could have been.
Yeah.
So, and
Ronnie's not.
I like the movie. I like Suicide Squad. I enjoy it, but I know it's not a good movie.
It's like Batman vs Superman for me, or I'm sure Rob has a guilty pleasure comic book movie.
To be honest, this is sort of the way I felt about Thor: Dark World. That I'm like, all right, I'm not angry by this. It's a little frustrating at times, but it's I don't feel like I wasted my time.
I also think that this movie came out before. And I hate to say it, we are spoiled by superhero movies.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to blame Marvel, but like Marvel really.
Oh, they completely spoiled.
They completely spoiled us. It is incredibly difficult to make a comic book movie right now that isn't Marvel. DC's still struggling with it.
Yeah.
But as far as DC movies go, unfortunately, and I hate to say it because I'm the biggest DC fan you'll ever meet. It is a testament that DC's films are better when they're not part of some sort of larger
extended universe.
You look at a show like Arrow that did really well before and did okay after and was good and there were great times, but unfortunately, like this is the new Batman stuff that's coming out. Maybe DC really needs to be like, hey, instead of cinematic universes, let's make quality individual films.
Yeah.
As much as we want to see Batman and Superman duke it out on the big screen in a good way. Maybe DC should do something different, but because what happened was they tried to do something different while also trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
the same thing as Marvel.
Yeah. But I'd 3.
Yeah, I give it a 3. Okay. All right, I think that's gonna wrap us up. Before we go, we do have our Fan Friday question that was posted on Facebook.
Fan Feedback Friday.
Anyway.
Fan Fiction Friday.
Fan Fiction Friday. That would actually be fun.
So we posed a question of what is your favorite Marvel movie?
MCU film.
MCU.
Yes.
Because somebody put Deadpool before it was.
You know what? It's better than half the MCU movies.
I thought you were going to say
half the question was asking.
I don't care what the question asks. I make up my own rules.
It's like saying
I
like The Incredibles.
Well, that's not Marvel.
That's actually a really good movie, though.
It is. It's better than half the Marvel movies too.
Yes.
That's
what
fair.
Fantastic.
That's
it's what Fantastic Four should be.
Yeah, it's better than probably all DC movies too.
So what's our question for Fan Feedback Friday?
It was what's your favorite MCU film? Because we've had a fair amount of DC content, or at least DC properties. Marvel less than. So now that the shows are kind of on hiatus, we're all kind of getting our trying to get our fix.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna just go through them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say who wrote what, but what's really cool on this and Cinematic Adventures, we actually have top fans. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So let's see. The first one is the longest one, so I'm going to read it quick because Ronnie's definitely hungry. Spotlight on a lesser celebrated film, Shane Black's Iron Man 3. It has its problems with the Mandarin, but the banter between Tony and the kid is great, some great physical comedy throughout, and Black's use of Christmas in his movies is always so much fun.
I'd like to point out that there were no English grammatical issues in this post.
Yeah, it was very well written. Very, very articulate. I can't argue with it because I do enjoy Iron Man 3 enough.
You can't argue because it's someone's opinion.
I really don't feel that Iron Man 3 doesn't get enough attention.
That's fair. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, or Deadpool. It's really I do enjoy that Captain America kind of swept. Spoiler alert: Captain America kind of swept this question.
Yeah,
for the most part. Yeah. Spider-Man 3. Shut up, Sean.
Really?
Yeah. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Doctor Strange. Yeah, those are solid choices.
Yeah.
But and that's pretty much it.
Very cool.
Yeah, we had to.
I think there was one more.
Was there one more?
Black Panther.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, you know what it was? Because it was replied to a comment. It wasn't its own
Black
comment.
Panther,
That's why.
The only Oscar-nominated film out of all of these for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got. Sorry, it was under a reply to another comment. That's why. Oh, a bunch of these were. We had another agreement with Civil War. So we have 2 Civil Wars, 3 Civil Wars.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah. And Black Panther or Infinity War. It's interesting that that's the only Avengers movie that made the list.
Infinity War, yeah.
Yeah. So
because I think Avengers was fantastic at the time, but then they've topped themselves so many times since.
Yeah, I can't watch Avengers again. Just like it's good, but it's so weird. Like if it's on TV, I'll watch it.
Right.
But yeah, those were the days. But that's Fan Feedback Friday. Thank you for catching that.
Anytime, sunshine.
That's why he hosts.
Exactly.
Now, really quick before Ronnie continues. So for Cinematic Adventures, we're also posing this question. We're going to do a Fan Feedback Friday at some point where we're going to ask you what kind of content you would like to see more of. Whether it's bonus episodes, more articles on the website. I know Rob was kind of spearheading that with the shows were going. So now that the shows are kind of on break, he's taking a little break unless
if somebody says, "Hey, do a review of this," okay.
Unless Venom's on, then. By the way, did you like the picture I posted with him literally ripping?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I was waiting for
pretty accurate.
I was waiting for a text message. I was really excited about that one.
That was great.
But
chuckle.
Whether it's more YouTube content, more Instagram content, interviews, like people who want to be on the show, or more fan interaction. We want to see what you, because we're growing. We're making huge progress on both of our shows. Almost 2,500 downloads for Multiverse and almost 500 for Cinematic Adventures. So that's 3,000 downloads of our content, and that's huge. And that's just mostly from Podbean. That's not even because unfortunately podcast algorithms are very difficult to really keep track of, because there's downloads, there's listens, there's this, there's that. So the more you guys interact with our stuff, the more we kind of know what you're interested in hearing from us or seeing from us. And also for the summer, I know Rob and I are a little bit more available during the summer. So if there's like, hey, we want a Lucifer full like bonus episode, you know, we can sit down, we can, you know, because usually we just do 1 episode a week of each show, and then I spend the weekend editing it, putting it together, and it gets uploaded on Monday. But if you guys are like, hey, we want more shows, we want, you know, just pure TV reviews or movie reviews or more articles or more YouTube stuff, let us know, and you
can guarantee I'll be writing weekly reviews on Loki.
Yeah, Loki's coming out soon. You know, Black Widow, Lucifer's coming out for their new season. So if there's more content that you guys want, or different content, or
let us know.
Yeah,
we aim to please.
Do you want me to tell them how they can let us know?
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
There's a way?
So there are a couple of ways, actually.
There's a will, there's a way.
If you go to our website, themisfitfaction.com, there is a message option for us. You can actually leave us direct messages there.
Is that electronic mail?
On the electronic mail.
Wow. How do you deliver electronic mail? Doesn't the postman get electrocuted?
No, you just send a raven.
Send a raven.
Yeah. Do you even have a computer? No, what for? But you can go directly there. We are going to be doing some work on the website over the next couple of weeks, just maybe tweaking it up a little bit. We do have some ideas that we want to work on that we keep talking about, but we never actually do, including our affiliates page. And I think we were talking about a fitness and health kind of page. But you can also find us on Facebook, where most of our interactions take place, the Multiverse Fan Cast, or the Misfit Faction page. Unfortunately, our Misfit Faction page, the way that they have... Facebook is very interesting in how we can invite people to actually like it. You have to actually find it and like it. So for all you guys who are listening, if you guys can do that, we'd highly appreciate it. You can take us on the go with any podcast listening device, iHeartRadio, Google, Podbean, Stitcher, Satchel, I think, Apple Podcasts, all those. And you can find us on Instagram, The Misfit Faction, and YouTube, The Misfit Faction Media Network.
Are you done yet?
Oh, my God.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for today. I'm Ronnie.
I'm Paul.
I'm Smorgasbord. I mean, damn it. I'm Rob.
And we'll be back in a flash.
Rob?